34 Westminster Gardens. This is the sort of final kind of chapter in my London years, I guess. I left South London from Brixton and came to live with my mum. My mum got a mortgage. This was the first mortgage that she got. She moved out of the flat in Clapham and she got this house behind me, number 34 Westminster Gardens. This was the first house that we actually had a garden, a proper garden, and yeah, this is where I finished my junior school in Barking, and this is where I started secondary school in Barking Abbey. Yeah, it was good fun here, to be honest with you. It was tough adapting to new life with my mum, because obviously 9-10 years previous I'd been with my dad for most of it. So it was an upheaval. It was quite quite difficult to get used to it, but eventually I settled in, and this is where I ended up. I used to walk from here into Barking and go to school. So Barking from here is probably about 2 miles away, maybe less, I don't know. It seemed to be about half an hour, 20-25 minute walk, and I used to do all kinds of things here. Got up to all sorts of mischief. I learned how to ride a bike, learned how to ride a motorbike. The next door neighbour, the alcoholic Irishman, Jim, he taught me how to drive a car on the industrial estates, the Morris Marina. So yeah, I got up to all sorts of mischief around here, getting myself into trouble quite a bit with my mum. But yeah, it was a really cool place, and yeah, some fond memories. I don't remember it being as industrial as it is now, and to be honest with you, when I look at it now, it's a bit of a shithole. But back then, when I lived here, it weren't so bad. So yeah, this was the beginning of my East London chapter. So here I am now on Goodwood Avenue. We moved here from Barking and came to the town of Hornchurch, which was just, I think, 5 more stops in the district line, I can't remember now. But it was sort of further out into the suburbs. This was a really nice area, and looking around it now, actually, it still isn't too bad at all. But this was like a real sort of game changer for my mum and I coming here. I had to unfortunately move school, but I went to a different secondary school here. It wasn't a brilliant school, not going to lie, but I was here up until the age of 16, and then I left school, and I would then go on from here to actually go into my first job in the City of London for an insurance brokers on Leadenhall Street. So I used to commute from Hornchurch station. Sometimes I used to take the train out to Upminster and jump on the British Rail and go to Fenchurch Street. But yeah, we were here for probably a good sort of 5 years or so, maybe longer. This was an area that was known as the racecourse area, due to the name of the roads, etc. In this house was where we had our first dog. Her name was Lassie, so I bet you can guess what kind of dog that is. And yeah, this was really nice. We had a really nice garden here, and it was just a really nice quiet area. Lots of things changed in my mum's life, which then subsequently obviously had a knock-on effect with my life, but for the most part this was not a bad place at all. Down the end of this road, at the bottom of this road, there's a field, and that's where I used to take Lassie the dog, and I used to go running with her. I used to do a lot of running around here, and that field led on to a country, sort of, yeah, like a country park. And that country park was on the site of a former RAF base. It was a Battle of Britain base where Spitfires used to be based. And when I used to be here, there used to be bunkers and all sorts of things that you could go and explore, and underground underground bunkers, all sorts of bits and pieces. You had all the dispersal points as well, and sort of taxiways and various bits and pieces. So it was really interesting as a young lad here. But yeah, reasonably happy memories about this place, and coming back to it now, it really is sort of still quite as nice as what it was when I was here, probably even nicer, and certainly a massive step up from Barking, huge step up. So yeah, this is number 306 Goodwood Avenue. So behind me, behind the small tree, is number 10 Harland Road, and we moved here from Goodwood Avenue, and I think my mum always thought this was a bit of a mistake, this particular move, but this was a really nice place. It was a small bungalow. It didn't look like what it is now, so you can see that the bungalow's got sort of like windows, sort of loft windows up in the roof and everything. That wasn't like that, even though there was actually a loft space, which was my bedroom for a while. But it's it's changed quite considerably, and but yeah, it was really good because it had the most amazing garden, a really long garden. I'm sure it was like something like a 200-foot garden or something, and it backed onto the park. So I could go down an alleyway down the side of a couple of bungalows down, and I used to cut across the park to go to work. And I used to work at let's see if I can remember. It was the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch. And now prior to that, there was a big change in my life here, because when we moved into Heartland Road, I was doing various jobs here and there, and I basically went away and joined the circus for 2 years. It wasn't quite a circus, it was actually a theatre company, and I joined this American theatre company based in Germany. So I didn't actually spend a huge amount of time in this particular house, because 2 years of it I was touring Europe. I toured the south of England, and I did a year in Italy and Sicily, and then I did a tour in Sweden and Finland, and spent quite a lot of time touring Germany in between all of those other big dates. So when I came back, having been an actor for 2 years, I then went into the Queen's Theatre, which is the repertory theatre in Hornchurch, and that's basically where my sort of liking for the technical side of theatre came from, and hence my career is basically in what I do now had started from Hornchurch Queen's Theatre. So this place does hold some kind of good memories for me, and in a way this was kind of almost, not quite, but almost the end of my chapter in London. When I came back from my tour with the theatre company around Europe and was working at the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch, it's where I fell out with my mum, and realised that we had some big differences, and I found it very difficult to live with her. And so from this point, and we're probably talking circa 91, 92, was where I actually left home for the first time proper, and left this place to go to the next place that we're going to, and that was where I officially started living by myself and was no longer sort of hanging on the apron strings of my mum, so to speak. Little story about this house, number 10 Harland Road, where those windows are up in the roof. That used to be my bedroom, but there weren't windows like that. It was just one sort of loft window to the back. But that was the first time that I ever took a girl back to my mum's house, and did sort of how can I explain it, adult things for the very first time under my mum's roof. So Yeah, if she's watching now, what a coincidence that would be. Hi. But yeah, happy times in this house, and yeah, a place where a new kind of road, new chapter, etc., all sort of stemmed from this particular house of my mum's, number 10. So just behind me across the road there is an open door, and that used to be a kind of like a bed sit. It was sort of a very small flat, had a little kitchen area, bed, etc., and then I used to share a toilet and a bathroom with a bunch of other flats. But this is 27 Junction Road, Romford, and I guess really here was where I first basically started living by myself. Had a big falling out with my mum, big argument, and basically left. And so this was the first time that I ever got to live by myself proper. Took all my belongings with me. Now, prior to coming here, I did spend about a week or two with a friend. She was a drama teacher of a sort of drama school that I used to go to in the evenings, and I stayed in a spare room of hers in Upminster, which is just a couple of stops up on the district line from Hornchurch. And then once I got myself sorted, I found this place. And whilst I was here, I used to get the bus into Hornchurch, which wasn't too far, carried on working at the Queen's Theatre, and basically this particular address, I suppose, was almost like the end of my sort of London experience. And they always say, once you leave London, you will never get back to London. You will never be able to afford to live back in London, etc. And I kind of left here at the age of, what was I, 22, I think it was. I'd already left Hartland Road at my mum's at the previous address for 2 years to join this theatre company. I was 19 at the time. Came back and then was now working at the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch, and then was here and left here at 22. Whilst working at the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch, and living at this particular address is where I sort of realised that the career path that I wanted to do in theatre was to be a stage manager. And in order to do that, I had to go to college. And so from here, I basically left and went to Glasgow. So a huge change to go from London to Glasgow. Still city life, etc. But a very, very different city. A real sort of, not so much as a culture shock, but yeah, just very, very different in many ways. But at the same time, there were a lot of sort of nuances that I was quite used to, having lived in a city like London for all of my life up to this point. So this is, funny enough, a junction where my life changed quite considerably from this point. 27 Junction Road.